we've got breaking news. Reports coming in that federal investigation, that grand jury in Delaware into Hunter Biden's business dealings, they've wrapped up their term. The probe has been ongoing since 2018. No charges yet filed, no final decision about whether to charge Hunter. The investigation is continuing into alleged tax evasion, money laundering, and violations of foreign lobbying laws. We're going to stay on the story for you. Joining us now, Congressman Greg Steube of House Foreign Affairs. Let's move on to this. Congressman, it's good to see you.
You too.
China is now warning the U.S. do not let House Speaker Nancy Pelosi make a trip to Taiwan next month. China is threatening military and strategic consequences. How do you think China's going to respond?
Well, first of all, I certainly wouldn't let the Chinese Communist Party dictate what American leaders do in our country and dealing with other leaders in other countries. So it's certainly not would dictate my determination of what I did and didn't do, what our number one enemy in this world is saying. But China's been doing military activity in Taiwan for the last couple of years. Last year, I believe it was 100 and something sorties, military sorties. They flew in Taiwanese airspace. The first couple of months this year was over 40 military sorties in Taiwanese airspace. So they've been probing Taiwanese airspace for the last couple of years because the Biden administration is obviously compromised with the Chinese Communist Party. So I'm sure it is just them talking, but I certainly wouldn't allow it to dictate my actions from our enemy across on the other side of the world.
And the question is, why is the speaker going to Taiwan, not the southern border? I mean, there's a firestorm that's going on too. I mean, your take on this, her husband's lucrative stock trades while Pelosi is in office. Her office is defending it, saying she does not own the stocks. California is a community property state, so she does own half the assets that he bought. What do you think of that?
Well, and you can't tell me that they didn't have a conversation about what was coming up. We should pass the Ban Congress Stock Act, not allow members of Congress to have individual stock trading in stocks. It would take care of all of those problems. It's a bipartisan bill. Pelosi could have brought that up 4 years ago when I started in Congress, but she hasn't because her husband is making millions of dollars off of having information. And of course, she would say that they've never had a conversation, just like the president has said he's never had a conversation with Hunter Biden about his business dealings. But we know that somebody with close familial ties is having conversations about things like that. We should ban stock trading with members of Congress, individual stocks. It shouldn't be allowed, and it would prevent these type of things. At the very least, it makes it look very, very bad for members of Congress to have your spouses doing deals like that on information that obviously she was privy to as the Speaker of the House and making money off of business deals.
You know, Congresswoman Kat Cammack, to your point, she was with us last night on this, and on Paul Pelosi buying up to $5 million in stock in chipmaker NVIDIA ahead of that vote on the $52 billion in taxpayer subsidies for U.S. chipmakers to take on China. Let's listen to this.
For example, of this double set of standards that Congress lives by that Americans don't have to live by. And it's ridiculous, it's totally unfair, and it needs to change. The Speaker is in control of what bills come to the House floor and when. Tell me that that is not the most incestuous relationship of all. We know that he's getting inside information because there's no way that he would have known that in July, the CHIPS Act, or USICA, was going to be coming to the House floor for a vote after the Senate has been considering their version.
What do you make of that take?
Well, she's right. There's no way he didn't know that that was going to happen, and there's no way that Pelosi didn't know that that deal was going to be done and that bill was going to come up because her and Schumer coordinate with the business of the House and the Senate to pass bills. So it comes up for a vote. Now it's presumed to come to the House either this week or next week while we're still here in Washington. You know darn well that she knew exactly what was going on. She tipped off her husband. He made that deal, but we'll never be able to prove it because she's going to say that she doesn't talk to her husband about this type of information. But the American people are smarter than that. The American people realize for what this is.
Speaker Pelosi, she's been reluctant about a ban on trading, stock trading by Congress and their spouses. Her family's net worth is $130 million. Let's watch the Speaker here. Watch.
Insider just completed a 5-month investigation finding that 49 members of Congress and 182 senior congressional staffers have violated the Stock Act, the insider trading law. I'm wondering if you have any reaction to that, and secondly, should members of Congress and their spouses be banned from trading individual stocks while serving in Congress?
We have a responsibility to report in the stock, on the stock. We are a free market economy. They should be able to participate in that.
So where free market transparency fixes the problem. Your final word.
She has the power to bring that bill to the House floor to prevent it. She's not doing it because her family and her husband is making millions of dollars off of the information that she has.
Congressman Steube, a pleasure having you on. Come back soon.
Thanks for having me.